Hi guys, I'm Zainadin. I'm a trainee network engineer at the University of Peradeniya Internet Communication and Service Unit. And recently we were in need of a service to broadcast videos live through the internet, and we were considering multiple options such as a external service provider or even building or kind of having our own infrastructure to do it. And that's when we came across IIS smooth streaming service. It's kind of very easy to implement, and it has an unmatched quality in streaming video. So this video tutorial is going to be on how you can have IIS smooth streaming done in your premises. So just to put things in a nutshell, we'll have to have a video that is live or static. A live video is something like a feed from a DV camera, or something static is like a video from a hard disk. And the static is I'm going to do in this example using a static video, and thereafter you have to have IIS 7 or 7.5 installed in your server, and also you'll have to have a web player to kind of show the content. And you cannot show this content directly, you need to encode them appropriately that IIS smooth streaming understands, and you use Microsoft Expression encoder for this. And finally, the users will be able to review them remotely. So I have Windows 7, that means I have IIS 7.5 installed in my system, and I have as an extra option I have installed IIS Media Services 4. The links for these files are included in the description of this video. You can go to that web page and download these files. That's from Microsoft website. And other than that, you'll need Microsoft Expression encoder to create the streams for smooth streaming. And also I'll be using a film. I think I'll use Battle of Centers as an example to show you about the smooth streaming event. Finally, I'm going to give you a Silverlight web player. That's kind of I found it in the Microsoft website itself. It's kind of a cool web player you can easily modify to suit your needs, and I'm going to describe it or kind of demonstrate it to you in my browser. This image kind of explains how the quality of a video changes with the resolution. So here we have the 480p and IIS, and to the right side or to the left side we have 1080p. And as we go to the left side, the quality of the video increases, and it's kind of clearly seen in this the video that is below it. We have things kind of very blurry, and as we go to the left side, things get much sharper and much more pleasing to watch. So the thing is, when we have low resolution and low bit rate, the amount of data that we have to transfer is very little. And as we increase the quality or increase the bit rate and the resolution, we have to send a lot of data. So when we send a lot of data, we have this bottleneck in I/O sorry, or the limit of data transfer to a device. For example, certain handheld devices will not be able, or most of the handheld devices will not be able to stream HD video, and it will also cost a lot of processing power if you're going to view HD video. So for devices with low processing power and low bandwidth, IIS smooth streaming will be sending low quality streams, and for devices with a lot of bandwidth and a lot of processing, it will be sending high quality streams. Then this process is kind of automated. So even if you have a high quality stream and then your network bandwidth kind of slows down, IIS will automatically reduce the quality of the stream to keep the flow of the video continuous. So the effect of buffering will be minimal, or actually we haven't kind of experienced it much. So it's kind of important to have IIS smooth streaming because it enables you to stream video with all its quality. And over here we have some images describing about video sizes. And next, let's go to setting up the IIS server. So if you do not have IIS server installed in your system, that is Windows Vista is supposed to have IIS 7, and Windows 7 is going to have IIS 7.5. What you have to do is you have to enable these services from the control panel and I'll be showing how you can do it. And thereafter you'll be needing to install IIS Media Services 4. It's also a small and free software from Microsoft. And thereafter you have to create a publishing point which creates an ISML file that you can kind of channel all this encoded videos into for caching or kind of storing in the server. So once you have set up the web server, you kind of have to have a player that you can show things to your user. So we'll have to have a Silverlight based media player that can kind of communicate with IIS server accordingly and fetch the appropriate stream. So there is a free web player that is from the Microsoft website, and I have included the link in the description section of this video. You can download it, or if else you can kind of build your own media player if you have experience with Silverlight. There's a lot of information about the smooth streaming API and other examples in the internet. And if you're kind of going to go with this free media player that I'm kind of going to supply, or actually it's not my product, it's from Microsoft, I guess, you'll have to change line number 66, which says something about a media URL. It has to be changed to your web server, and in my case I'll be using my IP address instead of the fully qualified domain name, and I'm going to give the URL, the destination or the URL of the ISML file as specified below. So you remember in the previous slide over here we created an ISML file, and the same file will needed to be kind of directed over here, and we'll see everything in an example in a short time. Thereafter we'll be using Microsoft Expression Encoder to encode and kind of channel this encoded video into IIS. So if I just exit this example, or what do you call it, it's not an example, it's a slideshow. I'll just show how you can install IIS in Windows. You have to go to Control Panel, go to Programs, turn on Windows features on or off. This will give a list of features that Windows has that has been enabled or not enabled yet. Okay, so over here we have Internet Information Services. This is the feature that we need to enable. If it's kind of bluish like this or is checked, you do not have to worry about it, but if not, you'll have to kind of check it and then say press OK, which will install the specific feature. So because I have already installed IIS, I'm not going to play with it, and I have also installed Media Services 4 in IIS. I'll just show you how you can do it. You can open up IIS, and things are very slow today. My computer is as sick as I am, so sorry about that. So over here I have installed Media Services 4, but if you do not have Media Services 4 installed, you can use Microsoft Web Platform Installer and install the service very easily. And in case if you don't have Microsoft Expression Web Platform Installer, you can just go search in Bing. Let's say you want Media Services 4, let's say 32-bit. You kind of come across the download link for IIS Media Services 4 32-bit. But it's kind of easier to work with the Web Platform Installer. All you have to do is you have to search for it. I'm going to say Media Services, and over here we have IIS Media Services 4. It's already installed. If not, you can just add it and then say install, and it'll kind of tell you how to download certain files. It's going to be like 1 megabyte for Media Services, and once you accept, it will be installed, and I have already installed it in my web server. Okay, so that's about IIS. The next thing we have to do is we have to kind of create a site. I have already created a subfolder in my default website named My Streams, and it kind of has some files that I used previously. I'm just going to delete them. Okay, so the www root is the root folder of my website, and I have created a subfolder named my streams. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a smooth streaming publishing point over here. So for that I had to select live smooth streaming publishing, and I'm going to open the feature, and which will kind of give us all the publishing points that is available in this folder. And at the moment there's nothing because I kind of cleaned the folder a while ago. And what we had to do is we had to add a publishing point. In the action section you have this publishing point, and you can just click add, and a new window will open. And the first thing we have to give is the name of the file. I'm going to say my event dot, no, that just my event, and I'm going to say the estimated duration is 2 hours, and this estimated duration is for the web player. You know, there is kind of a timeline underneath it. This length will kind of define the how long the timeline will be. So it's kind of good to have this appropriately. If not, it's alright because it's all an estimation. If it's more or less, it would not be an issue. And if we go to the advanced settings tab, we have to check the start publishing point automatically upon first client request. And in the next tab, which is mobile devices, it's kind of good to have enable output to Apple mobile digital devices. But you can even consider the other options, but we are not going to be much interested in them. And I'm going to click OK. So now this list was empty previously, and we now have a myevents.isml file created. So if I go to my folder, you'll see myevents.isml, a file created, and this is kind of the place where expression encoder will be channeling video into. So after we have created it, we have to start the publishing point. You can right click on it and go to start publishing point, or you can just select it and click over here in the actions panel, start publishing point. And as you see, the state was idle, I believe, and now it's starting. And now if you just minimize this for a while, and I'll go, okay, I have Microsoft Smooth Streaming Player.exe downloaded. You remember I kind of mentioned about it over here. It's freely available to download from the Microsoft website, and I have already downloaded it, and what you have to do is double click on it and extract the files. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to give the path of my web folder, and I'm going to click OK. Okay, so as you see, 2 files have been extracted. One is a documentation, I'm not going to read it, and the next is a zip file containing the source codes that we are interested in. Not the source codes, the products or the programs that we are interested in. So if we extract it, we'll have 2 files. Actually there were 3, I deleted them right now. That is about smoothstreamingplayer.html and smoothstreamingplayer.xap, and this is kind of the Silverlight player, and we have an HTML file, and I'm going to rename it to index. You don't have to rename to index, you can just kind of rename it to anything you desire, and I'm going to open it in Notepad++. Okay, so the thing is, we have kind of a large file, 74 lines in length, and in the 66th line you find this media URL parameter. So remember, you have to give the URL for your ISMF file over here. So this is going to be kind of the IP address or the fully qualified domain name of your web server. At the moment I'm working on localhost, so I'm going to use 127.0.0.1, and I'm going to say, oops, the folder name is my streams, the subfolder, and over there I have a file name, what is it, mystream.isml, I guess. Okay, let me check it, double check it to be sure. myevent.isml. So once we change it, we can save the document. Remember, this address should be the location pointing to the ISML file in a web server. Over here I have installed it in my local host, and it's in the my streams folder, and the name of it is myevents.isml, and that's what I have over here. So 127.0.0.1 is kind of referring to this computer, or it's a loopback that points back to my computer. So if you're kind of working on a web server, you'll have to give its URL, for example streaming.myhost.com, and if not, you can use a public IP address over here instead of a FQDN. And once we're done, we have to save this document. Oops, I hope I didn't change anything. Yep, once we change, and we can kind of start encoding. So I'm going to open Microsoft Expression Encoder 4, which will do the encoding and channeling the encoded data into IIS smooth streaming. Okay, so once we open up Microsoft Expression Encoder, we have three options, that is transcoding project, Silverlight project, and live broadcasting project. And our interest is in live broadcasting project, so let's select it. Alright, so once we open a live broadcasting project, we have few options or few things we have to do. We have to add a live source or a file source. As I said, a live source is a feed from a webcam, let's say DV camera or something like that. A file source is a file that is in your computer, let's say a video file, and you have to select one of these, and I'm going to select a file source instead of a live source because I do not have anything nice to show you. So over here I'm going to select Battle Los Angeles as something that I read recently, and once I add it, I'm going to queue this video, and once you click this queue button, it will turn green if it has been queued. And after that, you have to go to this preset tab, and you have to click on you have to expand standard encoding. I have only VC1, but if you have a different version of Expression Encoder, you'll have more options. Just expand it and then go to IIS smooth streaming. You have three options over here: IIS smooth streaming 480p and 720p and low bandwidth. I'm going to be using the low bandwidth option because I do not have the sufficient hardware resources to continue with smooth streaming at 720p. So once you click it, you'll kind of notice the encode video section. You can go to that encode video section and see what happens. We have three streams, that is 887, 596 and 400 kilobits per second. And if you go to 720p, you have 2.4 megabits, 1.5, 0.981 and 624 kilobits and 400 kilobits per second. So what happens is, when you kind of have a lot of quality, it'll break the video stream, or it will kind of encode it simultaneously into 4 or 5 streams. Over here we have 5 streams, that is 2.4, 1.5 and lot others. And the thing is, because I'm having a low bandwidth or low processor, I won't be able to kind of use this high quality video encoding. So I'm going to use smooth streaming low bandwidth. You can use the smooth streaming 720p or anything higher if you're having at least 4 physical cores in your processor. I only have 2, so I'm not going to do it. Even doing this is kind of very difficult. And once I select it, I'm going to go to the output tab and going to select streaming, and I'm going to go to the publishing point, and I'm going to give the address of my publishing point which I created. You remember, it's the ISML file, so I can say something like my events dot my event.isml. I'm going to say http. Oops. http. Right. Alright, I think I have, because I did this for the second time, it has already cached in my IP address, my entry. So what it has to be is it has to be given the location of the ISML file. This is HTTP, and I've used 127.0.0.1. that is the IP address of my web server, which turns out to be the same computer. And thereafter I'm going to give the subdirectory and the ISML file name that it has to connect to. So if you're kind of going to use FFQDN, you'll have to replace this IP address with it appropriately. And thereafter you can connect to the web server, and you can see this ash color button will turn green once you click connected. And thereafter all what you have to do is you have to kind of stream this video, and I'm going to press start over here, and the video has begun to stream. So I'm going to go to Internet Explorer, and I'm going to say 127.0.0.1 slash my stream slash, no, it has to be my streams, just that. As you see, the web player is been opened at the moment. It's kind of slow because my processor has been engaged almost 100%. Okay, so this is the video that has been streamed.
One thing is clear: the world is at war.
Yep, the world is at war, that's for sure. And well, I'm going to stop this because it's eating my processor. Stop, man, stop. Yeah, right, thank you. So that's how you kind of stream this video. You can just point up to your web server from anywhere. I did it from my computer itself because I don't have access to another computer, and anyone can use the IP address or the fully qualified domain name of your server, go to your streaming folder, and well, access your content. So that's how you kind of use IIS smooth streaming. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm not a professional in IIS smooth streaming, but I think I can help you around. If it's so, I'll do my best to help you. So that concludes this video on IIS smooth streaming, and all the URLs and downloads that you had to do will be described in the description section of this video. Have a nice day. Thank you for viewing.